faith, grit, and a stubborn dream. This was all they had when they came to America in search of a better life, but decades later, their descendants now command billion-dollar empires that would surprise anyone. We're talking about powerful Irish-American women who defied the odds and now sit at the financial pinnacle of America. But who are these women, and just how wealthy are they? From famine ships to controlling boardrooms, join us as we explore the richest Irish women in America. Their stories might even surprise financial experts. 1. Cox Chambers, the quiet queen of American media. Net worth, $16 billion. Before her name faded into the history of American wealth, Cox Chambers stood as one of the richest and most powerful women in the world, with a personal fortune of $16 billion. Her story was not one of noise or spectacle, but of quiet, unshakable influence. Born in Dayton, Ohio, Anne came from Irish stock and inherited her father's empire, Cox Enterprises, a modest newspaper business that once ran the presses for local stories. Under her patient guidance, it became one of the most formidable communications companies in America. She didn't just expand the business, she transformed it. Cox Enterprises grew from regional print to a global powerhouse in television, cable, broadband, and digital media, employing tens of thousands and reshaping how Americans consumed information. Anne was one of the first women in U.S. history to sit on the board of a major media conglomerate. Her leadership style was deliberate, never rushed, like a chess player always 3 moves ahead. When she was appointed U.S. ambassador to Belgium under President Jimmy Carter, it wasn't merely a political favor. It was recognition of her diplomatic finesse and cultural sophistication. Her Atlanta mansion spoke in the language of quiet luxury. Marble floors reflected soft light from European chandeliers, and her art collection, which included pieces by Renoir and Monet, adorned the walls not as decoration, but as a reflection of taste. She didn't flaunt her wealth, she curated it. Anne donated millions to museums, universities, and cultural institutions, leaving behind a network of opportunity and art that still bears her name. Her life became the definition of understated power, the kind that doesn't seek attention, but commands respect. Cox Chambers proved that true wealth doesn't roar from the rooftops. It builds foundations that last beyond lifetimes. The next Irish-American woman on our list practically shaped her empire across the very land beneath them. 2. Linda McMahon, the billion-dollar powerhouse behind WWE. Net worth, $3.3 billion. Before the world knew wrestling as a global entertainment phenomenon, before the flashing lights of WrestleMania filled arenas, there was a woman in a small Connecticut office mapping out the blueprint for a billion-dollar spectacle. That woman was Linda McMahon, the business brain behind WWE. Alongside her husband, Vince McMahon, Linda helped transform a struggling regional wrestling company into the global media juggernaut that dominates pop culture today. She wasn't in the ring taking punches, but she was in the boardroom making deals that made the company untouchable. When WWE went public in 1999, Linda's financial strategy helped skyrocket the company's valuation. She helped broker broadcast and pay-per-view contracts that would forever blur the line between sports and entertainment. Under her corporate direction, WWE became a household name, a brand recognized in more than 150 countries and watched by millions each week. Her reach extended far beyond the squared circle. Linda's business success eventually caught the eye of national politics, leading her to become the administrator of the U.S. Small Business Administration under President Donald Trump. From advising entrepreneurs to creating pathways for small businesses to grow, she carried the same energy that made WWE a household empire into the realm of public service. Linda's lifestyle reflects the dual nature of her success, both glamorous and disciplined. Her mansion in Greenwich, Connecticut, blends traditional architecture with modern luxury, its walls lined with awards recognizing her as a leader in both business and philanthropy. She built her fortune not through inheritance, but through relentless innovation. Every storyline, every event, every pyrotechnic explosion at WrestleMania bears her invisible signature, a reminder that behind every spectacle is a strategist. It's time for our next Irish-American female billionaire. 3. Kathy Ireland, the model who became a mogul. Net worth, over $400 million. Before the world knew her as a business icon, Kathy Ireland was the face of glamour, a supermodel gracing covers and runways from Los Angeles to London. But what many didn't see behind the camera flashes was a sharp business mind quietly preparing for something far greater than fame. In 1993, Kathy took a bold leap and founded Kathy Ireland Worldwide, KIWW, a lifestyle brand that began with a single pair of socks and evolved into a global empire. Today, her company oversees more than $3 billion in annual retail sales, licensing everything from home decor and furniture to fashion, fitness, and health products. Kathy did what few celebrities of her era could. She turned her name into a business strategy. She understood the value of branding before personal brand became a buzzword. By aligning her company with family values, comfort, and affordable elegance, she created a business that resonated with millions of households. Her California and Hawaii estates reflect the same energy her brand projects, refined yet approachable, with open spaces, soft tones, and ocean views that seem to mirror the calm confidence of her career. Yet behind that serenity is relentless ambition. Kathy built an empire that stands as a model of how fame, when paired with intelligence and timing, can turn into generational wealth. Today, her influence extends far beyond retail. She has become a prominent philanthropist, supporting cancer research, education, and women's empowerment programs worldwide. Kathy Ireland's rise reminds viewers that sometimes the most valuable asset isn't a product or a company, it's your name. And speaking of names that define success, the next woman on our list will surprise you. 4. Eileen Murray, the Wall Street trailblazer. Net worth estimated in the hundreds of millions. It's one thing to survive on Wall Street, it's another to lead it. Eileen Murray did both. Born and raised in the Bronx to an Irish-American family, Eileen's story reads like the blueprint for ambition. After studying at Manhattan College, she entered the finance industry at a time when few women occupied executive seats. Yet through persistence and strategy, she rose through the ranks, eventually becoming co-CEO of Bridgewater Associates, the largest hedge fund in the world. At Bridgewater, Eileen managed billions of dollars in global assets, helping guide investment decisions that influenced economies. She was known for her operational precision, introducing systems that improved transparency and performance, reforms that even rival firms sought to imitate. Her compensation placed her among the highest-paid executives on Wall Street, and her influence extended well beyond finance. Eileen has served on corporate boards, advised charitable foundations, and advocated for gender equality in leadership. Her reputation is built not only on results, but also on her ability to elevate others, a rare trait in an industry often driven by competition rather than collaboration. It is time to talk about the Irish-American woman who managed to feed a whole country. 5. Denise Morrison, the executive who fed America. Net worth, approximately $80 million. Few leaders can claim to have reshaped the way America eats, but Denise Morrison can, quite literally. As the former CEO of the Campbell Soup Company, she didn't just run a household brand. She ran a national symbol. The red and white Campbell's label has been part of American kitchens for over a century, but under Denise's leadership, it evolved from a nostalgic staple into a modern, health-conscious empire. Denise's Irish roots trace back to Cork and Mayo, and her leadership style carried that same Irish balance of warmth and strength. When she stepped into Campbell's corner office in 2011, she became one of the few women ever to lead a Fortune 500 company, overseeing billions in annual revenue. But her mission wasn't only to sell soup, it was to reimagine it. She diversified Campbell's portfolio by acquiring healthier brands like Bolthouse Farms and Plum Organics, steering the company toward the future of food while maintaining its classic image. In boardrooms lined with historical portraits of past male executives, Denise's presence represented a new era. Her decisions were studied in business schools, her strategies praised by investors, and her ability to modernize a century-old company without losing its soul became a case study in leadership. Beyond the boardroom, Denise became a mentor to women in corporate America, encouraging diversity, accountability, and empathy in leadership. Her success story reminds viewers that influence isn't only built through disruption, sometimes it's sustained through adaptation. Like a well-seasoned broth, her leadership had depth, substance, and patience. 6. Eileen C. McDonnell, the insurance titan. Net worth, estimated around $50 million. In an industry built on risk, Eileen C. McDonnell built a fortress of reliability. As the first woman to serve as both chairman and CEO of Penn Mutual, one of America's oldest life insurance companies, she did more than manage numbers. She transformed an institution. When she took the reins, Penn Mutual was 175 years old and steeped in tradition. Under Eileen's guidance, it entered new markets, embraced digital innovation, and expanded its reach across the nation. Her leadership combined the caution of an actuary with the courage of a pioneer. In an environment historically dominated by men, Eileen's steady hand redefined what corporate power looked like. Her policies focused on financial empowerment, especially for women and young professionals. She launched programs that educated new generations about financial security, ensuring Penn Mutual wasn't just selling insurance, it was building futures. She also pushed for ethical governance and inclusivity, proving that doing good business and doing good for people could coexist. Her recognition on Fortune's Most Powerful Women lists came not from flash or spectacle, but from measurable results. Penn Mutual's customer base grew, its public reputation strengthened, and its financial footprint expanded under her leadership. Today, she sits on major corporate and non-profit boards, continuing to influence how Americans think about money, responsibility, and longevity. Eileen McDonnell's story isn't just about insurance, it's about assurance, the kind that comes when leadership inspires confidence rather than demands it. Congratulations, you made it this far. 7. Kathleen Kennedy Townsend, the keeper of a dynasty. Net worth, estimated at $20 million. Few surnames carry as much weight in American history as Kennedy. But within that storied lineage stands Kathleen Kennedy Townsend, a woman who transformed her heritage from memory into movement. As the eldest daughter of Robert F. Kennedy, Kathleen was born into one of the most influential Irish-American dynasties in U.S. politics. Yet she didn't rest on the glow of her family's name. Instead, she chose the long, demanding road of public service, a calling that would define her career and keep her family's legacy alive for new generations. She served as Lieutenant Governor of Maryland from 1995 to 2003, becoming the first woman to hold that position in the state's history. During her tenure, she focused on education reform, workforce development, and community safety, practical policies that reflected the Kennedy tradition of empathy through action. Beyond politics, Kathleen has been deeply involved in philanthropy and civic education, promoting youth engagement and leadership programs across the country. Her work with the Center for Popular Democracy and other advocacy organizations shows that her influence extends well beyond campaign speeches and public titles. Her lifestyle reflects substance over spectacle. While others in her generation leaned into fame, Kathleen leaned into service. She remains a living thread in the tapestry of the Kennedy name, a reminder that power isn't only inherited, it's renewed through purpose. Though her personal fortune may not match the billionaires on this list, her wealth lies in legacy, the kind measured in impact rather than income. Her presence in public life continues to uphold a name synonymous with Irish pride, American ambition, and moral leadership. And as Kathleen Kennedy Townsend carries the torch of a dynasty, she reminds us that while some Irish-American women built empires of money, others built empires of meaning. It's time for the next remarkable Irish-American empress. 8. Mary Callahan Erdos. Net worth, estimated over $150 million. Here we come to a woman whose name does not just echo on Wall Street, but commands it. Mary Callahan. Erdos stands among the rare few whose signature can shift the direction of markets. With an estimated personal net worth exceeding $150 million, she has become one of the most powerful Irish-American women in the history of global finance. Born into a proud Irish-American family, Mary's heritage connects her to generations of ambition and endurance. Her story represents the transformation of the Irish immigrant dream, from mere survival to global leadership. Where her ancestors may have once sought security and opportunity, Mary reached for influence at the very top of the financial world. Today, she serves as the Chief Executive Officer of J.P. Morgan Asset and Wealth Management, where she oversees more than $4 trillion in assets. That is a number so vast it rivals the economies of entire nations. In this role, Mary manages the wealth of some of the world's most powerful families, institutions, and investors, earning her a reputation as one of the most trusted minds in modern banking. Her career began in an era when women were often limited to supportive roles in finance. Yet through precision, intelligence, and unmatched discipline, she rose beyond expectations. Mary's analytical skills, combined with her measured leadership, transformed her into one of the most respected figures in the industry. Her meetings are known for clarity and decisiveness, and her strategies are studied by financial analysts worldwide. Under her leadership, J.P. Morgan's Asset and Wealth Management division has become a pillar of strength. Even in times of financial uncertainty, her guidance helped the company remain stable, profitable, and forward-thinking. She is often cited as a voice of balance and prudence in a field that rewards risk, making her one of the most reliable stewards of modern capital. Mary's Irish roots have not gone unnoticed. She was recognized by Irish America magazine as part of its Business 100 list, which honors the most influential Irish Americans shaping global commerce. For her, heritage is not just a matter of ancestry, but a reflection of the values that built her success: perseverance, humility, and purpose. Her journey shows that leadership, much like wealth, is built layer by layer through consistency and vision. From her Chicago upbringing to the boardrooms of New York, she has built a career defined not by noise, but by results. Her success represents the full circle of the Irish-American dream, where determination born in the immigrant spirit now drives the movement of international markets. Mary Callahan Erdos has proven that power can be both commanding and controlled. And as her influence continues to expand, one truth remains clear: the financial world listens when she speaks. Stay with us, because if this level of impact seems extraordinary, the next Irish-American woman will astound you. 9. Finucane. Net worth, estimated between $80 million and $100 million. At first glance, Anne Finucane might appear composed and understated, the type of leader who prefers results over recognition. Yet beneath her calm presence lies one of the most strategic and influential minds in modern banking. With an estimated net worth nearing $100 million, Anne Finucane has spent decades helping guide one of the largest financial institutions in the world while honoring her deep Irish roots. Her ancestry traces to County Clare, Ireland, and she has often acknowledged her heritage as an essential part of her identity. The values of persistence, integrity, and quiet strength that characterize the Irish-American experience are reflected throughout her career. As vice chair of Bank of America, Anne has been instrumental in shaping the company's global image, reputation, and social responsibility efforts. Her journey began in communications, where she quickly gained a reputation for clarity and insight. Over time, her expertise evolved into leadership, and she became one of the key figures behind the bank's strategic direction. When the global financial crisis struck in 2008, Bank of America needed not just financial repair, but public trust. Anne became one of the architects of that recovery. Through careful messaging and forward-looking initiatives, she helped rebuild confidence and reposition the bank as a responsible leader in global finance. Her leadership extends beyond profit margins. Anne has played a major role in directing the bank's environmental and social initiatives, ensuring that billions of dollars are invested in renewable energy and sustainable development. She has been recognized as a driving force in aligning corporate success with public good, proving that influence can be both powerful and principled. Her reach also extends into philanthropy and the arts. She serves on the boards of the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston and the Ireland Funds, bridging business with culture in a way that honors both heritage and innovation. Her work has earned her a place on multiple Most Powerful Women in Business lists by Fortune and the Financial Times. Anne's presence in the corporate world is a reminder that authority does not always need to shout. Her leadership style mirrors the Irish-American spirit itself, combining humility with resilience and influence with integrity. She has been described by peers as a strategist who can see both the financial and human sides of every decision, balancing what is profitable with what is right. The legacy Anne Finucane leaves behind at Bank of America reaches far beyond quarterly reports or stock performance. It represents the evolution of the Irish-American dream into positions of global influence and responsibility. The families who once laid railroad tracks and built cities now have descendants who shape the very systems of modern capitalism. As she gradually transitions into advisory and board roles, her impact continues to be felt across the corporate world. Every institution she touches benefits from her ability to combine clear thinking with compassion, a trait that has become her signature. Anne Finucane has proven that real leadership is measured not only by what one achieves, but also by the stability one leaves behind. It's time to move to the last name on our list. Here, the intrigue continues. 10. Caroline Kennedy, net worth, estimated between $200 million and $300 million. In a country built on reinvention, few families have remained as timeless as the Kennedys. At the center of that enduring legacy stands Caroline Kennedy, whose fortune, estimated between $200 and $300 million, represents not just inherited wealth, but the lasting power of an American dynasty with Irish roots that run deep. Born into one of the most storied political families in the world, Caroline is the daughter of President John F. Kennedy and Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. Her family's origins trace back to County Wexford in Ireland, where the Kennedy story began in the 19th century with immigrants chasing opportunity and dignity. Generations later, that same bloodline would occupy the White House and redefine what Irish-American success looked like. Caroline grew up under the world's watchful eye, yet she managed to build a life defined more by substance than spectacle. As the only surviving child of John and Jackie, she inherited both the Kennedy fortune and the immense responsibility of preserving her family's public and moral legacy. But rather than retreating into privilege, she stepped into roles that demanded intellect, diplomacy, and endurance. Her time as the United States ambassador to Japan and later to Australia showcased her measured approach to power, quiet, strategic, and deeply respected. In these positions, she became a modern voice for the Kennedy spirit abroad, strengthening alliances while maintaining the understated grace that made her family iconic. Caroline's financial portfolio is equally impressive. Her assets include trust funds, blue-chip stock investments, valuable real estate, and intellectual property connected to her parents' estates. When her ambassadorial nominations were filed, public disclosures confirmed her standing among America's wealthiest women. Yet what sets her apart is how she uses that wealth. Rather than expanding her empire, she has focused on preserving her family's cultural and civic impact through education, literature, and philanthropy. Her contributions to literacy and public education, along with her dedication to preserving the Kennedy Presidential Library and other historic archives, show how she turned inheritance into influence. She has authored and edited several books on American politics and rights, continuing her family's legacy of intellectual engagement and civic duty. Caroline Kennedy brings balance to the story of Irish-American wealth. She is not a corporate mogul or a financial titan. She is the embodiment of legacy, proof that power can endure through integrity and quiet leadership. Her life reflects a truth that transcends generations, that fortune is not only about money, but about the ability to shape history, preserve memory, and keep the flame of purpose alive. Through Caroline, the Kennedy story continues, refined, resilient, and as deeply Irish-American as it has ever been. What do you think about these Irish-American women? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more insightful videos like this.